square? Or square, yeah.
It's okay.
No, we sang a song, something about glory tonight. I don't remember all of it, but I want to share a vision I had with you. I didn't have it tonight, I had it just a while ago. But in the vision, I was walking with the church, and we were going down a very wide road. And then there was a road off to the side. And God said, that's where I want my people to go. So some of the people, not all of them, went down this road. And when we went down the road, it was narrow, and then we got to the end, and there was a big pool of water with a waterfall coming down the mountain. And the pool of water was refreshing. So some people jumped right into the pool, got under the waterfall, and just got blessed. And then God says, this isn't the end. I want you to go up the waterfall.
Oh.
Has anybody ever tried climbing up a waterfall? It's very slippery, very hard. So it was a struggle, but some went up to the top. And then at the top, there was like a big cave where the water was coming up. And several people went in there and they stayed there. But the Lord didn't want us to stop there. And there was a narrow path off to the right where only one person could go at a time. And then there was a stair. But on the stair was a fire. You had to walk through the fire to get to the top. And then when you got to the top, the path went around a mountain, very narrow. And very few people decided they want to venture there. But when you got around the corner, there was such a bright light, the glory of God. And God said, this is where I want you. I want you to live in my glory. Hallelujah. At any point, you're saved. But how much do you want for God?
Wow.
Hallelujah.
What will you do to get there?
I was blessed with that song of glory. So tonight, we have some time for some more testimonies. Anybody ready tonight? Ready? I can't find my paper that was recording. Okay. Come, I'll try to remember.
Were you saying only 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is John, or Jonathan Scott. I'm a believer.
Wow. That's awesome.
What a great testimony. So when I was younger, I actually, I used to have these night terrors, and they got so bad I actually would see evil spirits walking on the earth during the daytime. And so I finally went through counseling, and then I spoke with my mom about it, and she actually said that I could send them away. And I was like, oh, really? How? And I was around 7, 8. It was happening for many years. And then she said, you can just rebuke them in the name of Jesus. And so she taught me that exact phrase is like, I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus. And slowly they were dissipating, and I was like, what is going on? And so my mom taught me about Jesus and like who he was, and like in his name these had to go, and my night terrors would go away too. And me being excited because they were pretty crazy. was like, yeah, I want more. I want more of who he is. And then I learned about Jesus and salvation, and then at a young age, at 11, I decided to get baptized even. I got baptized at 11, and pretty much I always found myself as a weird person in my schooling, and this like overjoyous person that I didn't know what it was at the time. And people would stop me. I would be humming or whistling or singing in the hallways, and you know, it's probably strange for a young kid. And I didn't know what it was. And I just thought that's who I am, and I'm fairly outgoing, so maybe it is just me. And anyway, I always thought I was weird because of that. I loved the Lord as a very young age, and then later high school hit, and I just started hanging out with the wrong people. And it got pretty toxic pretty fast. And on a slippery slope, my mom was very sick most of my life, so she was kind of my stronghold in my life. And then she passed away in 2004, and the slope just went faster and faster into darkness, I guess. And I started feeling these presences again, which was really bad. And then I just basically turned my back and didn't forget about God, but I actually decided I didn't want to follow him in any way. And I got lost in addiction and lust and everything you can think of under the sun in that aspect, and thought I was even going to get a divorce because of it. And then finally one day I was just at home, and my wife and I used to go to church, and I was like, okay, we need to go back to church. And so we're like deciding, we're making up all these excuses that, oh, maybe it's not for children, because we had children at the time. And then we finally look into it and find out like the church that I went to when I grew up, they have this amazing kids program. So we're like, okay, we'll try it. And so the day that we go, this incredible sermon on God is running at you. And he brought up just some verses in Psalms, of Psalm 37. And as a young kid, I actually had, when I got baptized a year later, I went to the blessing store, and I spelled my name J-O-N. This is pretty relevant. On these like name things that you can get, like little verses with your name on it, it was actually a John, J-O-N, and a verse on it. And this is like pretty amazing when I was younger, because there was nothing J-O-N. It was the first thing I ever found, J-O-N. Everything's J-O-H-N. And I showed my mom, and she's like freaking out because she knew that same relevance. And then I just like kept that, always kept it. And sure enough, so when I come back to church the first day, he reads Psalm 37. And Psalm 37:4 is actually the one of my verse. It has nothing to do with God running at you. And so it got extremely highlighted for me. And I was sitting there shaking the entire week. I was just going like this. And what kind of time were we at?
10 seconds.
Oh, 10 seconds. Okay, so the Lord basically, like, I had the fear of the Lord come over me. And then skipping forward so much that I just ran after him like endlessly. And wouldn't stop no matter what. And then I actually had an experience with him, and just like had an encounter with him where I saw Jesus face to face. And then from that day, well, not from that day, from the day that I was shaking, it was like 6 months later I saw Jesus face to face, and he rebaptized me. Actually, it was in a dream, not in a dream. I was awake, but I was gone out of my body, and he was there at my baptism when I was younger, and he actually baptized me himself. And then I came up to his face like this, and he just said, I love you. And I was out for about 45 minutes, and people had to come to me after, realized something was happening. Anyway, here's the little card. I still keep it.
Wow.
It's the first card I ever got with J-O-N. And after that sermon was just rocked me. That's kind of how it started, and I just won't stop coming after him now that I realize he just keeps coming after me.
Anyone else? Ready?
share my testimony when I always want to use Richard's because he has a dramatic testimony than me. I grew up in a Christian church attending Sunday school at 2 years old. And I was a pastor kid. He is a missionary and evangelist too. So like, I thought my life was perfect. But then God took my dad when I was kid too. No life insurance, and left us, we have to pay for the hospital bill. And I got my younger kid is 10 years old, 9 and 13. My sister is 16. And then we live in poverty. And we don't know how to survive. But God, on the night my dad died, he told me that he will be our father. And I hold that promise. And then I asked God, so how are we gonna survive? And then I realized now that my dad did not leave us any insurance, but he made sure we will be rooted in the Word of God. That's the most blessing that he left. Like, because we don't have anything but Jesus. Then we grew up in a path that my father prayed for us. Like he said, like I'm not thinking of any profession, like doctor or accountant or something that you're gonna be. He's always praying that the three of us will continue what he has started. So I always pray that God use me in a mission field, in evangelism. So God use us, me and my family, in a mission field, like we going to remote areas and tribes to share the gospel. But I never realized God has another path. Like he brought us to Middle East, and then I'm thinking, like, I thought I'm gonna be a full-time missionary, but God's plan is always higher than our plan. So he put us in the Middle East where God's word is prohibited. Like when the people see you sharing the gospel, you will be put in jail. But God is always the protector. So he's even if it is a Muslim country, God wants the word of God to be shared to the people. So when we came here to Canada, I feel the dried up because this is a Christian country where people are claiming they are Christians. So it's hard to share the gospel. I mean, when you go to a Muslim country, you will get lots of soul, like hungry soul. But when we came here, we dried up because people are too busy for the Bible study or small group. But the Lord is always faithful because even if we're going to a time that we are out of focus because of the material things, the business, our profession here, but God is always turning us back to the reality. So last month I have my digital detox because I close out my social media accounts for a month just to focus on God's calling. And surprisingly, I hear the audible voice of God. He said, like, release forgiveness to all the people and accept forgiveness from all the people. So I wrote to all my friends, asked for forgiveness because the Lord told me, I'm preparing for another ministry that I'm preparing for you. So God put me back to my childhood dream to become a full-time. I'm not full-time, to be a missionary because I have kids. Right? So God is telling me that you and your family will not just stay in Canada. So we're still praying for you because the Lord put it into my heart. My father put me at a missionary school of mission when I was 8 years old, and I shared the gospel at 8 years old.
Wow.
And then I remember that my father wants us to share the gospel. And then me and Richard last night were talking that God coming soon. So my only prayer is to reach every soul that is lost. And I want to share you my favorite verse in Psalms 91. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High God will dwell in the shadow of our Almighty God.
One more? Okay.
Praise God.
Amen.
Okay. My name is Sally. Okay. I was born on June 22nd, 1979. My parents were not married when they gave birth to me. Even though I'm close to 40 years, I don't know my dad. So when my mom gave birth to me, my grandmom told her, okay, you can leave me with the child instead of aborting the child. So that's how I got my grandma. I'm kind of panicking, yeah. So by 2 years old, my mom got married, so she decided to take me along to her marriage. So by 12, my grandma was very spiritual. When I was living with her, she was always like too prayerful. So when I went to my mom, she was not that spiritual. So by 12, they sent me to a mission school. So while at the mission school, they were talking so much about God. And because of my grandma's prayer, I don't know, I kind of knew it in my spirit. So I gave my life to Christ. Then by still 13 like that, I went for a vacation. I met one of my cousins who wanted to be a pastor. It was like my age mate. I didn't even know what I wanted to become. So I was like, God, just like show me what I want to become, like just like a joke. And one night, while on that vacation, I had like a dream. I saw Jesus coming, very huge, big in white, with thunderous voice, saying that he's coming to take his children. So I was running in the dream. I was just 12, 13. Running in the dream, I was trying to preach to people. And they too were trying to preach to me. So nobody was even hearing what they were saying, what each other was saying. And Jesus was just moving slowly, but I was running, but he could still like reach me. Then suddenly there was like a long line, like a judgment seat of God. So we're all standing there. So they were like judging people and separating people. So when it was my turn, I just woke up. I found myself sweating and in tears. So when I went back to my mission school, so when they're like trying to preach again, like we used to have missionaries who come from the US and places who come and preach to us. Like they showed us the Jesus movie and things. I gave my life, and this time I was kind of serious because I know what I'd encounter in my dream and things like that. So that's how I actually gave my life. But now the growth process in Cameroon, by the time I was at the university, that's like in 2000, there was this Cameroon Bible Training Center, just like the one we have here. So while in my mission school, I was like a religious prefect there, but I decided to go to this training center because I was convinced to go there by my friend. So while I went there, they were just telling us about God and things like that. They spoke about baptism. I was like, no, I've been baptized. I can't be baptized again, because I was baptized by sprinkling. So they're like teaching us about getting baptized by immersion and things like that. So I obeyed and I got baptized again. And then after 1 year of the school, I was like, since I was combining with my university study, I said, okay, let me focus at school. So I left and I went back to school. Then later on, I heard the students at the Bible school were coming to look for me. So I was like, our university is so big, more than 10,000 students. How will you stand at the gate and thinking that you will be able to find me? So because of that love, I decided to go back to the Bible school. And just by going back, that's when I met my husband.
Wow.
And then we're in the same class. And I wouldn't have ever known him or cross path with him, but that's how we met. Just because I went back and I met him when in the same class and things like that. So basically, that's how I gave my life, and that's how I grew. Praise God so much.
Praise the Lord. Did anybody read John chapter 9? Are we ready to act it out?
No.
No? No, we needed Jesus. He wants to be Jesus.
Jonathan's gonna, I took home their play.
He's gonna do the whole thing.
Trying by myself.
We need a blind man. We need some disciples, some Pharisees, some parents. The reason we act out is when you get into acting, you get to know the people. And if you really want to preach, you get yourself into the mind of the people. And that's when you can really speak to people. So, Jonathan, what are you going to
I can be anything. Whatever you want me to be.
I'll do the blind man.
If
You'll be the blind
I have
man?
a question.
Okay.
If we do this, because that man was healed because of what Jesus told him to do. If we do this for Wayne, will he be healed because we do it?
God is God.
God is God.
So why doesn't Wayne just do it? Because if we're going to like act out what Jesus did, what a perfect time for Wayne to get healed right now.
Come on, girl.
Go Wayne!
And he has faith, and like he's been in this school for a while, so.
So we've got a blind man and we've got a Jesus.
I'll be Jesus, sure.
Okay. The blind man needs some parents. That's a very important part of this scripture.
Where the parents at?
They've got like 2 lines.
Gina. Okay.
Okay. And we need a few disciples. We don't
Okay,
need
where
all
the parents?
of them. Just a couple of them, because they've only got a few things to say.
I'll be a disciple.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Who's discipling with me?
Yeah, I could be a disciple.
Okay.
I'm
And
a
some
parent. I'm a
more
parent.
I am a disciple.
Alejandro, you
That's
want to be a
true, I
disciple?
am a disciple.
Alejandro.
Nobody wants to volunteer. We're going to advocate for everybody.
How about some Pharisees?
Fine, I'll do it.
So what we'll do is, we'll bring the blind man up here.
I couldn't get past verse 7. I was stuck to the 7.
That's good. It's okay to read the book.
You're meant to
That's what we're doing, aren't we?
Oh, yes?
The Bible or here? Oh, no.
Go away!
No, here.
Okay, we have to remember, this is something, it's one of the most powerful chapters in the Bible. It's an actual thing, okay? So, where's the disciples with Jesus?
Come on.
Good.
Let me get up
You go, they walk, no, you just sit there.
Just stay right there.
Because you can't see, so you,
No, you're not to the end.
eh? Well, we'll imagine
Number
that.
20 or something.
We've got some water.
No, 20. His parent
Oh, you can get as much
said,
water as you want.
we know that.
Well, I guess we can just get dirt.
I'm ready.
Get dirt from outside.
Did Jesus
all the way outside and get dirt.
Yes, he did.
Number 20 is
He does now.
Okay, let's see,
What is the...
who's the Pharisees? Let's bring you in here.
Happy sitting down.
You have to be angry.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a good thing.
What's the lake or the pool called?
Does anybody know what the word Salome means?
Sent.
Yes.
It is sent. And
Sent.
isn't a major part of healing, like the actual man actually getting up to do something? Because that releases your faith.
in order to actually do something about it. So if we anoint him with like water, saying this is the clay in the water, like, and he has to go somewhere to do something, or wash himself or something.
We'll bring him over here.
Pat, oh, sorry.
And the parents,
Just about.
who are the parents?
Gina.
Okay, come in here.
Number 20. I'll be
Wes.
Yeah.
Camera.
sorry.
Okay, let's see how much we can go through this. It doesn't matter if we miss out some of the stuff, as long as you can pick out the things that are important.
Are you gonna be the narrator?
Is there a narrator?
No,
We're just gonna skip the narrating.
Yeah.
Pass by.
Okay.
Probably the disciples can start first.
No, it's the disciples that pass by.
Yeah,
Now Jesus passed by.
Jesus and the disciples are coming.
Yeah, so.
We need a narrator.
Okay, it's okay. Okay,
Now,
they're passing by, and,
They saw a man blind from birth.
yeah,
Rabbi, who sins, this man or his parents?
That he was born blind.
Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but that the works of God should be revealed in him. I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. The night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world.
After he said these things, he spit on the ground, made some mud from the saliva, and spread the mud on his eyes.
go wash in the pool of Siloam. Come this way, Lane. Okay, I'm the pool.
So he went and washed.
Now you can wash your eyes.
Go on, narrator.
Which means sent. So he left, washed, and came back seeing. His neighbors and those who had seen him before as a beggar said, "Isn't this the one who used to sit begging?" Some said, "He's the one." Others were saying, "No, but he looks like him." But he said,
"Yes, I'm the one."
so they asked him, "How were your eyes open?"
A man came and anointed my eyes and said to me, "Go and wash in the pond of Siloam." And I went and washed, and I come back seeing.
Amen. Amen. Where is he? They asked.
I don't know.
They brought the man who used to be blind to the Pharisees. The day that Jesus made the mud and opened his eyes was a Sabbath. Then the Pharisees asked him again how he received his sight.
So, wait, you're the Pharisees. So.
A man anointed my eyes with clay and sent me to wash in the pond. So I went and I washed, and I come back seeing.
This man is not from God because he does not keep the Sabbath. How can a man who is a sinner do such signs?
Whether this man is a sinner or not, I do not know, but I know that this man anointed my eyes, and now I see.
What do you say
So
about
he is a
him
prophet.
because he opened your eyes?
He is a prophet. He is a prophet.
So the Pharisees asked the parents, "Is this your son, who you say was born blind? How then does he see now?"
That this is our son, and that he was born blind. But how he see, we don't know.
No, we
don't know. We know that this is our son and that he was born blind, but by what means we now see, we do not know, or who opened his eyes, we do not know. He is of age, and ask him. He will speak for himself.
His parents said these things because they feared the Jews, for the Jews had agreed already that anyone confessing that he is Christ, they would be put out of the synagogue. Therefore his parents said, he is of age.
He is of age, ask him.
So again they called the man who was blind and said to him, give God the glory. We know that this man is a sinner.
He answered and said to them,
I told you already.
whether he's a sinner or not.
Whether he's a sinner or not, I do not know. But one thing that I do know is that once I was blind and now I see.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
What did he do to you, and how did he open your eyes?
I told you.
Oh, wait,
Already.
he's like, I told you.
You did not listen. Why do you ask? Do you want to be his disciples?
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, good job.
You are his disciple, but we are Moses' disciples. We know that God spoke to Moses as for this fellow. We do not know where he is from.
Is this not a marvelous thing that now I see, and that it is good that you do not know where he's from?
Yeah, he has opened my eyes.
For he has opened my eyes.
Now we know.
Now we know that God does not hear sinners, but if anyone is a worshiper of God and does his will, he hears him.
This is the knowledge that since the world began, it has been unheard of that anyone opened the eyes of one who was born blind. If this man were not from God, he could do nothing. They answered and said to him,
You were completely born in sins, and you are teaching us, and they cast him out.
Jesus heard that they cast him out, and when he found him, he said to him,
Do you believe in the Son of God?
Who is he, Lord, that I may know and believe in him?
You have both seen him, and it is he who is talking with you.
Lord, I believe and worshipped.
For judgment I have come into this world, that those who do not see may see, and that those who see may be made blind.
So some of the Pharisees who were with him heard these words and said to him,
Are we blind also?
and Jesus said to them,
If you were blind, you would have no sin. But now you say, we see, therefore your sin remains.
Good job, partner.
Nice work, Wade.
That's
yeah, you're good.
You did very good.
Stumbling all over.
Especially Wayne.
Yeah.
Now, I hope you see some things in there. The first part is what do we have when Jesus and the disciples come? What can we call that? When they see the blind man. Okay. That's good.
but it's not preachable. Okay? What happens when you take someone to a doctor?
Oh, you got
You get healed, but what are you when you go in?
Patient.
Patient?
Yeah, you're sick.
You're sick?
You need
Do appointment.
Or we call it a case. We have a case. A case to solve. Okay? Okay? Remember the words to head up this message you're going to preach aren't words out of there. It's words that can relate to the people. Okay? Okay, if we have a case, what happens when he gets healed?
Case solved.
What happens when the case is solved or there's a miracle?
Faith rise.
No, faith arrives first. Now to help you,
Please.
when you're preaching a message, if every heading starts with the same letter, it helps people to remember.
Okay.
So what can we call that miracle? Starting with a C.
Oh, okay.
And then is taken before the confession.
Let it finish.
Okay. But also, what happens to him finally? After he's made confession and he's done it a couple times?
He sees Jesus.
Testimony persecuted.
With a C.
Oh.
Christ.
Remember, why did the parents not want to say it?
Crucifixion. Crucifixion.
He was cast out.
Conviction.
Because it.
Consequence.
Wow.
How did you get that? Oh, must they get you?
Okay.
How would they get that?
Now we have 4 points. A good sermon has only 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this one together with the confession. Okay? So now what would you get for a title for this message? Think about it. If you can have, these are the headings for what you're going to speak about. What is a good title?
I thought we were supposed to prepare for like a sermon on this, so I did it.
Okay.
The title that God gave me was The Strategic Jesus.
Okay. Strategic Jesus. Okay, that's good.
Because
Anything
I
else?
was trying to go through this and I couldn't go through past 7th verse. He started pulling me back
Okay.
to the Old Testament and in Acts, and I kind of have a 7-minute sermon, but that's what he told me to have a title.
Good. Good. Is there anyone else? Did anyone else come up with a title?
The works of Jesus.
The works of Jesus. Okay.
Ruling and reigning with Christ.
Okay.
Generational sin broken.
Okay, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus said it wasn't because of sin.
He's joking.
Yeah?
He's joking.
It's been broken.
Okay, another title? See if anyone can come close to what I got. Someone came fairly close. You see, in the title, we want to grab people's attention.
The cure.
Cure is vague.
Was
So here's the one I came up
Aaron,
with.
Jesus say. Now. Oh,
If you say, I want to teach about how God works, people are going to wake up.
Right.
They're
okay.
going to pay attention. Okay? If you say God cures sin, that's general.
Yeah.
But if you say how God works, then people want to know. Okay? So, the case. What did Jesus say about the case?
It was
Was-
nobody's fault. It was for God's glory.
Okay. God's glory, now put something in there.
Well, it was for Jesus to heal him.
For the
It was for
works,
Jesus
for the
to.
works of God.
What's the biggest healing that came there? Was it him seeing the king?
No. The goodness of God.
Yes, Philip.
That he met Christ.
Yeah. Salvation.
Grace. He shows to the case his grace. So he shows to each one of us his grace. We can't get out of where we were without grace. Now, there's something that is required of us. What was required of the blind man?
To go wash.
Obedience.
Obedience. Okay? So when you're talking about the cure, I think I told you last week about people that are standing like this, probably won't get anything. Okay? Obedience. If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray, I will heal their land. Okay? So it takes something to, somebody said it earlier, to prove our faith. Okay? It takes something on our side.
Question.
Okay?
What about the lady in the crowd who just touched his garment?
Well, she did that though, right?
But
She
what was
fought,
the
she
obedience
fought.
there?
The obedience,
No faith. But he's saying faith is
Yeah.
not hard. Well, alright, sorry.
that she had to do something. She didn't just sit there and wish that Jesus would have touched her. She was reaching out. We used to sing a song in the church, reach out and touch the Lord when he goes by. I never could sing that. I sing it this way, reach out and grab the Lord.
Don't let him go by.
Don't let him go. And that lady reached out and grabbed him.
Right.
Wow.
She had to do something. There was some, it was indirect obedience, but she had to do something.
If I can but touch.
It's something interesting at Albert's dream about, I found it very interesting that the man said, why do all the women get answers?
Because women don't give up.
Okay, confession. Now what does confession bring to us? We go to the end of the chapter.
Repentance.
Our eyes are open.
What did Jesus want from us?
Our heart.
No? Giving our heart brings it. So what does he want with us? No?
Submission. Submission.
Relationship.
No? Oh, what did you say?
Relationship.
Relationship. That's what he really wants. I call it fellowship. Now, can you see how you can preach just these few things and reach the needs of everybody there? We all have needs. We need grace. We need to be cured. We have to do something. I know there's nothing we can do to be saved, but we have to receive it. I had a vision one time about a stairway, and I had a whole bunch of luggage, and I was trying to take it up the stairway, and at the top there was a sharp turn going and into a door, and I couldn't get onto the stairs with all the luggage. I just couldn't do it. I wanted to go there, but I couldn't. And the Lord walked out of the door. He said, lay down your burdens. Okay. I had to do something. If I want to get there, I had to do something. I had to unload all those things that I liked. Wow. Good things. I had to lay them down to be able to proceed. And when we confess, that's what I like about your testimony. When we confess about what Jesus did for me. When we talk about that, we're in fellowship. I knew this man. He came to our church, and he was, well, we had some people in the church that could really sing, but this man came, and he played a guitar while he was preaching. And he sang a lot of his message. And his message was from Matthew chapter 6. I still remember it. And I thought, Lord, why didn't you give me that? But you see, he gave the ability to that man. I just, sometimes when we're worshiping, I can hardly contain what is inside of me, and I want to give back to him. I think, why couldn't I be a singer? Lead the worship. One time I was in church, and here was a man that was really a good singer. I was on this side, his wife was on the other side. And one day he said, do you know the affliction that I have? It's standing between Bob and my wife. Because I make a joyful noise, but it's a noise.
Well, you sing to the audience of one. So.
That's right. Yeah. But we use what God gives us.
Yeah.
Now, I've been doing this for 40 years.
Wow.
Okay. So it comes a little easier to me. I'm not going to preach this message in the church. But you understand, there's things. Got 5 minutes? Or?
Tell everyone else.
Okay.
Do your job, John.
There's 3 types of preaching. The first one is topical. This means that you get an idea, and that idea controls the message. I don't know if anybody's ever seen a topical Bible.
Yeah.
You can look at the topics. Some people preach on it. You can use a variety of scriptures from all over the place. Okay? Topical. Or you can, we had a pastor in our church. He was a word preacher. He would do a concordance preaching. He'd get his concordance and go through all the words. It was horrible. It was a good thing our church used to last 3 or 4 hours.
Sorry, what was concordance?
That's
That's how
topical.
he would preach.
You look, and then you look at every scripture that has that word in it. It's a very bad way to preach.
Google way.
Google way. And then the second method is textual. That means using, like in the book of John, the whole chapter, or a section of scripture. And out of that comes all of your main points out of the scripture. Okay? That's what we did here. So this is a better way of preaching. But your subpoints can come from anywhere else. Okay? These things here, we didn't see in the scripture.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then there's expository preaching. This is where everything comes out of the scripture reference. The whole message comes out of that. It's harder to do, but it's the best way of preaching. Because now you're preaching only what the Word says. Because I can find a verse in the Bible to justify anything I want to say.
Yeah.
John went, all right. Oh, go hang yourself. Okay? Because there's a scripture that talks about going and hanging yourself. I can say anything I want.
Yeah.
So you can try to make the scripture say what you want, but if you stay right in the scripture, there's no error. As long as you make sure you have enough of the scripture. Make sure you start where it starts and end where it ends. Okay? Because otherwise you can be taking things out of context. Okay? Keep it in context. Okay? And that's where your main things will come. Now, one thing that I have a problem with in preaching, I have a hard time standing still. Okay? I move a lot. In Kenya, I have an interpreter. We're stumbling over each other all the time because I move. But next thing, after you get this, you have to present yourself. Make sure you're speaking so everyone can hear you. But you don't want to yell!
Well, that works somewhere else.
If you yell all the time, a friend of mine was a very good worship leader. Just gave it everything. And his voice gave up.
Wow.
No, he doesn't have a voice. He writes books now. Very good books. But he ruined his voice. In Kenya, I don't know about other countries, but they love to get an amplifier and turn it on. In a room like this, they would have an amplifier. They would. This is too big a group for speaking. When I was first pastoring in Kenya, when I first got there, It was a big building. And I thought, wow, this is wonderful. When I had been in Zaire, a building that size would hold 2,000 people. And so I thought, this is great. Because I had just come from Zaire, where things were wonderful. I came into the church, I was excited. 35 people. They didn't even fill up the first row. And I'd say, God, why did you send me here? He said, that's why I sent you.
Wow.
Within a year, I had 350. I didn't buy an amplifier. I had to speak for those 350 people. And you have to learn to project your voice.
Right.
What you try to do, if you're nervous, is pick someone that looks like they're paying attention.
That's awesome.
And speak to them. But don't just look straight behind. Make it look like you're looking at everyone. Move around once in a while. I heard a story about this guy who was preaching. There was a guy there with tears in his eyes. And the speaker had a beard, a little longer than mine. And there was a guy, he just, as he spoke, tears in his eyes. All the time. He was just weeping. And so he gave an altar call. He expected this guy to come first. He didn't come. So after he finished, he went and talked to the guy. Why didn't you come to the altar? You were crying all the way through the message. He said, I didn't hear what you said. He said, well, why were you crying? He said, you reminded me of my goat. My goat just died and he had a beard like So it doesn't matter why they're paying attention to you. Speak to that person. Okay? I think we're ready for a break.
Resting out of the word.
It's time for a break.
Let's have some good.
I can see that. I'll leave this here. I'm gonna leave my stuff here. My purse.
Yeah.
They go to the bathroom.
Everything. Because in Texas, you can bring scripture from other places to support. But with expository, everything's in the like I said, it's harder to do. You have to start with don't even in all of this.